by chaining spin dashes. You spin dash by pressing the action button, and you charge the spin dash in order to gain speed. And then when you release it, you launch forward and gives you a lot of speed momentum. Um, while you're in the middle of a spin dash, you can actually charge another spin dash in order to maintain your speed and momentum and keep going at an accelerated rate. Um, when going down hills, you'll notice that he will continue to hold the spin dash because it is actually faster than chaining it together. And it allows him to basically just maintain speed throughout the level at most parts. Like down this slope here for the building, you just want to maintain your spin dash, and it gives you all the speed that you really need. And on rails, you'll see that Piner is slightly adjusting his angles to try and maintain the speed on them as best as possible, as well as just trying to keep balance. And in truck section, this is probably one of the most complex parts of City Escape. Pretty much what you want to do is try to maintain speed. Yes. But at the same time, it's very difficult to do that because of the fact that the crests of the hills are off screen. So the way the camera is positioned makes it very difficult to time your spin dashes so that you do a spin dash while going over the hill, as opposed to right before you reach the bottom. Because if you chime your spin dash wrong, you'll end up flying off the hill, which loses a lot of time.
Yep, very difficult. So next up we got Bigfoot, first boss of the run. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be homing attacking to that box you see in the cutscene on the left. I'm just going to be bopping him on the head over and over until he dies. What the game actually kind of wants you to do is like wait for him to spin around and shoot at you and then land, and that takes like minutes. It's actually incredibly annoying. So we're using a somersault, which gives us a little bit of speed towards the box, and then jumping, which allows us to get on the box and then jumping at him to kill him.
Yeah, using the boxes in order to more quickly get to his hitbox is very helpful. And his hitbox only becomes active whenever he's in the air, so you have to wait. That's another big thing about this boss.
It's a bit of iframes.
Yeah. Alright, so
Alright, so this is interesting. I got a free piece.
Oh, nice.
What a free piece is, I should define that right quick for all those who don't know. A free piece is basically a piece that you can see in the level, but you normally cannot collect or like see the radar for or the hint.
Because in SA2, the Knuckles radar is a bit different from the one in SA1, where the radar will ping for the piece regardless of which one you are on and which one you collected at the time. In this game, it goes in the order of 1, 2, and 3. So if you see a piece that does not have a radar ping, it saves time and you having to go find a hint and then hunt down that piece.
There's something about Knuckles that he's the most intimidating part of learning the run, as there are 100 hints per level, just about, and you have to memorize each first hint if you want to be optimal. It's a big undertaking, but it's actually not quite as bad as people make it out to be. Also, this is Eggman, we just shoot him until he dies. Nothing much to say here.
Incredibly easy boss, just hold forward and press action button. He's kind of a joke. As opposed to the actual level that comes afterwards, which is not a joke. Actually quite irritating.
Yeah, definitely one of the most difficult tail stages to do, like really fast. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be jumping around these corners. The reason for this is that if you take a sharp turn, Tails will just kind of come to a dead stop. We don't want that.
Yeah, the game does not like you making sharp turns within the mech, so to try and maintain momentum, you just want to kind of jump around corners to maintain speed. And yeah, you're just constantly jumping when playing through Prison Lane. The other tail stages are not necessarily the same because you have to hover about halfway through the next one, so it's far less of an issue, and there's far less turns that need to be made quite sharply in the other levels.
Yeah, and then something interesting that I missed there is that you can actually target enemies through walls because the targeting was well programmed. No, actually, it's probably due to the gates. If I were to come up with a reason as to why they allow that to happen, it's the gates here in this level. As you want to shoot through the gates for the targeting. But I can't say for sure. But you can actually shoot an enemy early, and I kind of messed that up.
Yeah. If you shoot an enemy early, then the door before, or the gate before those wooden boxes that he has to destroy at the top of the elevator would already be open.
This is an example of shooting through walls. And that too.
Yeah. Shooting enemies early is one of the key parts of making this level less of a pain in the butt, because normally you would have to get on a little elevator to open the last door that leads to the final hallway, and it's really slow, but you can target him early by jumping and aiming at it through the ceiling.
Yep. Also, I forgot to explain gate hops. Basically, as the gates are coming down, you can hop on top of them and skip a little bit of an elevator. This happens twice throughout the level. And now we have probably the easiest Sonic stage to die on, Metal Harbor. A lot of water. Sonic doesn't like water. He doesn't drink. That's why he dies. Wait, no, that's Shadow. Never mind.
Hedgehogs can't swim, even though they actually can.
So we're just going to jump over here onto this level geometry and take a part that would normally be, you know, once you beat the level, you have the light dash. But because there's level geometry, we can just kind of go over to it. We're still following the path of the level, just a little bit in a bit of an unintended way.
So yeah, this is the light dash. It allows you to follow a trail of rings at an extremely fast rate. It usually never works. Well, I wouldn't say never. It a lot of times does not work as intended. But
yeah,
that's a common theme with Sonic games. So
yeah. So there's the back of the loops in this game, except for like the ones in Radical Highway, just don't have collision. Period. So you can just kind of go through the back of them, because the back doesn't exist. Also, what we did there is we abused how slope jumps work. A slope jump is basically you're on a slope and you have speed and you jump, and it sends you up more than you normally would. Fun fact about this is that if you're mashing A here, you jump off the rocket about 3 or 4 seconds earlier than you normally would, because the game gives you control for some reason.
You still don't really know why. It's really weird.
You skip the boost pad there just by doing a homing attack because speed.
Not my day.
And of course, now we're coming up on the infamous Faker cutscene. Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, it's in Japanese this time. They don't interrupt each other, fun fact.
Yeah. It's almost like this is the intended language for the game to be dubbed in.
Is English a glitch?
Who knows?
Sorry, I had to throw in a joke like that somewhere. I'm gonna beat him up.
Alright. So yeah, basically how Shadow works with this boss is for the first hit, Pioneer performs a abuse of the way the game stores the action command of a somersault. Pretty much what happens is if you're holding the action button as you're walking into an enemy or hitting underneath a piece of geometry where you need to somersault, the game thinks that you're somersaulting even whenever you're not actually performing the action.
Yeah, it's really weird. There's this byte value in the game called a status value. Now, this is a bit more technical, but this will explain exactly why it happens. When you start to charge a spin dash, it basically just gives you the status value that is the somersault. So, that. But yeah, basically what Ford said. Would be going down this way. This is Green Forest. This is a cool level. It has a cool thing that looks like a glitch, but isn't.
Yeah, Green Forest is a bit of a weird level in the fact that it was one of the first ones designed, so it has some of the worst level geometry.
Mm-hmm. Also, we use storage on the springs because another interesting thing about storage is that you can store it through, like, springs and rails and whatnot, and then you can just start your next spin dash sooner. That's pretty cool. Which saves like, you know, half a second or so here or there. Alright, I'm gonna need a little bit of focus for this. Ah, shit. I'm actually gonna die and try that again because of how cool it is.
Yeah, this is a relatively good pace run, so we can afford to give it another shot.
Oh, hecky. Alright, one last try and then I'll move on. Alright. Well, unfortunately, I couldn't get the trick.
So basically, what he was trying to perform is a trick called Green Forest wall run, where by gaining the attribute of loop speed from being on the side of the loop, it allows Sonic to run on vertical surfaces, and he would pretty much skip this entire vertical section of having to take these springs and attack these enemies, and then skip this last little bungee part at the top.
Yeah. Bungee skip is like actually an out of bounds, so unfortunately I'm not going to be doing it, but it's really easy. You just spin dash off the edge and you do it.
Yeah. You know, really hard to say because this level doesn't really have bounds.
True. There's a lot of emptiness in this game that makes it kind of hard to define what no out of bounds would really be. But basically, going over or through, or not over, sorry, not over. Over is fine. Going through what is obviously meant to be a boundary, you know, because there is actually an invisible wall that you're just kind of going around.
What about the bottom of loops then?
Bottom of loops don't have collision. I don't care about those.
Fair enough.
No problem.
Clipping is not actually a glitch in this game due to how it works. There are actually out of bounds in this game that I would define as not a glitch, but because a lot of people define out of bounds as clip, or as a glitch, that's not really a thing. But yeah, one side clipping, because there is no collision, it's just gonna go through. That's a piece I haven't seen in a while. Oh yeah, this is Knuckles. Again.
Oh boy, now we get to talk about semantics. Alright, so pretty much a big thing about Pumpkin Hill is that it has a lot of pieces that the only thing separating the difference between them is a punctuation.
It's
so
great.
Yeah, so its location is entirely determined by the little period or quotation mark or whatever at the end of the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
It's very irritating because it's very easy to miss minute details like that. And then you also have very ambiguous pieces, like when you do something bad, this might happen, which can be in one of two locations, but it doesn't have a differentiating factor to it at all.
Yep.
So I guess having semantics isn't so bad after all.
Yeah, so something interesting about that piece is that basically you just gotta take a guess. Like, there are multiple locations where it can be, but we basically know that the pieces like to be spread far apart, on average. There are some exceptions to this, and if you look up some ILs of the hunting stages for Mission 4, you'll definitely see that. But we are able to use that to our advantage quite a bit. Yeah.
So Mission Street is where Tails will be picking up the upper upgrade. This is easily its most useful upgrade, and it's the only one that you'll really need to make use of in a normal run. But in No Out of Bounds, there's another one that will be forced to pick up, which allows you to break mailboxes, but that's not for a while, so we're not too concerned about that.
Yep. So the reason that this upgrade is so useful is not because it helps you not die, but because it helps you completely destroy the game. There is a very, very simple oversight in the physics of this upgrade. What this upgrade is supposed to do is make you fall down more slowly. but it also makes you transition into falling more slowly. So I just hopped over those boxes because of that. You just double tap A. Like, that's all it is. It's such a simple thing, such a ridiculous oversight that it's honestly kind of absurd that it exists. No zero cycle. Yeah, there are cycles. You want to talk about the cycles?
Yeah. Pretty much when you start the level, you have these little cylinders that move up and down. These continue to move as you place the level, regardless of like whether or not you're inside of a little cutscene or what you're doing. Like these will continue to move unless you like pause the game. Because of this, even if you make a mistake, you can still possibly get a pretty okay time for you because of the fact that the stage will continue to progress and move the cycles along, and they will continue to move on that cycle regardless of what you do. So even if you make a small mistake, you can still make a pretty decent cycle. But if you want the best cycle, which is a zero cycle, then you will have to pretty much play perfectly throughout the stage.
Yep.
So yeah, cycles are a bit of a blessing and a curse, but kind of just comes with the territory.
So there's a few interesting things in this level, like depending on the RNG, I'll get to show off. But I can't make any guarantees.
Doesn't look like you got any free pieces. When you load into the stage and the beginning cutscene plays, there are some pieces that you can see so that you can pick them up without having to grab a hint and without actually wasting time because you have to wait for the in-game cutscene to play.
Also, I probably won't be able to show off that thing that I wanted to show off.
Unfortunate.
Don't worry about that. This game's well programmed, I promise.
Doesn't count.
Oh, I do get to show it off. Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Alright. A little bit of... Wait, no, I don't. What am I doing? I was thinking, a completely different piece. Instead of... I'm smart, alright?
I thought you were going to do it up instead of using the spring.
Those signs are silly.
Yeah, but it's something.
Alright, so yeah, what I was gonna do was I was gonna run on the wall and go into the ghost room, which was the wrong direction because I'm smart.
Yeah, pretty much Knuckles can using the sign as a bit of a I guess like a lever.
Slope.
Slope, yeah. He can actually gain the ability to run on walls by basically punching and accelerating himself and giving himself enough speed.
Yeah, because the way that gravity works in this game is very interesting, in that your gravity changes when you're on a sloped object. So, you know, that's pretty cool. Like, it's a pretty interesting way to do it, but because of that, there's this little section in City Escape, right at the beginning, where you intentionally run on a wall. Like, right after the rail section, and that's how it works, is because as long as you maintain speed, you can keep your gravity, and as long as, you know, the game still thinks the wall is down, you can run on it. And with a slope, you can transition that. Anyways, there's not really much to talk about in this level, other than we're drifting. And we have an initial D music playing, because I put it in the game.
Yeah. Pretty much, the thing about the driving sections, like the carts, is that because, like, whenever you use a boost, you, of course, go up to a certain amount of speed. Normally the game will decelerate you back to the base driving speed, but because of the fact that you're continually drifting, the game will not decelerate you back to the base speed.
Yep.
But yeah, Route 101 and Route 280 are probably some of the least interesting stages. Route 280 a bit more exciting just because of the fact that you have a greater chance of death, which means that their driving is a bit more involved.
Also, I'm gonna turn around.
Oh yeah, this is not a glitch, but a neat little trick that you can perform. Oh, I thought you were actually going to do the backwards driving.
I am.
Oh, okay. My mistake. I was looking at the wrong one. Yeah. So basically, you can make Tails turn around and drive backwards.
Yeah. So this is an interesting thing. Whenever Tails turns or hits a wall, his model gets offset, and as long as you maintain speed, it'll maintain being offset. So we're basically abusing this little weird feature of the driving to be able to turn our model around just for fun. Also, something interesting that is a glitch it can happen in this stage where basically you hit a car as it's despawning, and that'll mean that the entire level will despawn from underneath your feet. Or wheels, rather. And, yeah, you'll die. It's pretty funny. Oh, don't worry. They're just memers in the community.
Yeah, they don't actually mean any of it. They know that, this is actually good. They're just being memes.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, we can hop over walls. It's not through them.
Yeah, because technically this is still within the bounds of the game.
Yep. Oh, something interesting about route levels. After you play one, you'll get an echo effect. And it won't go away for a while. It's really weird. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that I'm not doing in this level because it's out of bounds. The hover actually allows us to go out of bounds in a large amount of places in this level due to how it was programmed. So, yeah. This is the thing, we're not knocking that over, because heck that, it's slow. Normally you knock that over, walk a little bit, and whatever, but because we can just go the same path, just without knocking it over, we just do that.
Pretty much.
Oh heck. But yeah, the reason that we can go on top of a ton of walls is that, the way that this game was programmed was very interesting in that, it was programmed in a year and a half, basically. They made the entire game. So they cut a lot of corners at some point. And that includes the stage, where they basically were like, okay, they can't jump higher than this. But apparently, while playing this game, nobody double tapped the A button. So they weren't able to figure out that you could actually just jump on all of this stuff. But, you're only seeing a little bit of it.
Well, the thing about double tapping the A button is that it's a bit of a tight frame window for when you need to actually press the second A press.
It's 10 frames.
Yeah, but that's not exactly something that a lot of people will just like, oh, I'm gonna double tap it exceedingly fast. Like, I mean, most people just press. That's what I did as a kid.
It's a sixth of a second.
So that's pretty much hidden base in a nutshell. Is just trying to make it through as fast as possible, while not falling in the sand, because sandbags are not fun.
Oh yeah, you may have seen me going and double tapping the A button a lot, or pausing rather. What that is, I'm pausing the game because I want to get my A presses together, like tighter, to make jumps easier. So you'll see me doing that a lot in tail stages. So we got an interesting thing here. We're gonna shove ourselves between some collision. When the game rejects that, we're going to fly up. Also, we have another interesting thing because I messed up. The ball form state is very, very interesting with how it reacts when you collide with walls. It tends to change your vertical direction momentum into up-down momentum depending on certain factors. Also, yeah, that's what we did there. We did a super bounce. When in the ball form, when you hit a wall in the air while moving upward, you will fly into the air. It'll transfer your horizontal momentum vertically, due to the way the physics works. Also, there's a gap in this wall. We're not even going through anything. There's just a bona fide hole there that we just kind of go in. Like, there's a hole. I don't know why there's a hole there, but they placed the door in a stupid position, and now there's a hole.
Yep. There's a very, very small gap, just big enough for Sonic to fit through. Still within bounds. It's just you're just going through the door because there's a small gap that they decided to leave in there. Basically, like kind of like somersaulting in a sense, except it's less obvious.
Yep. We're going to be showing off something pretty interesting. Another super bounce. Now we're going to go over here. So instead of taking those boost pads, we can do that. That's called a gravity bounce. So like I mentioned before, as long as you maintain speed, gravity will be maintained as well. Bounce gives you speed. So if you do that, you can just kind of go zoom.
Alright. Next up is Death Chamber, which is pretty infamous for its out of bounds, but we won't be showing that off.
Yep.
Honestly, it's depending on the RNG, it might not even be relevant. That's defense. That's not a great first piece.
Yeah, I'll take it though.
Are you gonna do Death Strats off of this one?
Oh, of course. I'm not going to red blue. Absolutely heck going to red blue from green.
Yeah. So for a lot of Death Chamber pieces, often it'll be faster to just die after grabbing the first piece in order to respawn in the red room and hopefully get a better second piece from where you got the first piece at. Depending on if the piece is in blue room or on the path to the blue room, you actually have the chance of getting a piece when you respawn that is also in the red room.
Guess I'll take that. So the reason that I kill myself there is that actually that's a really nice piece if you are allowed to go out of bounds, but because we aren't, it is no longer a good piece. Ghost Protects the Goddess is kind of a thing. So I'll take 3 kills. There's a clip known as Booty Clip. Not Beauty Clip, Booty Clip. You heard it right, about booty. And yeah, so you can use that a lot in a normal run to get out of bounds quite a bit.
There you're on. This is a piece that you can normally see in the core area that is normally a free piece, but because of the fact that he didn't go there at the time that it was spawned, basically you have to grab a hint before grabbing it, otherwise you wouldn't know it's there.
Also, if you're crying about inconsistencies, I think you're probably just misunderstanding what's going on. We go through walls that don't exist, so they aren't walls, so we're not really going through anything. We're going through air. So, that's a thing. The thing that we're basically just not allowing ourselves to do is fly out of bounds. In kind of crazy situations. As long as we're still following, the path set by the level, you know, we're just gonna do that. You know, so that's the thing. Anyways, we got Boom Boo. You wanna explain Boom Boo?
Yeah, pretty much King Boom Boo has like 2 separate phases to him. He has like, well, technically 3, but you pretty much only see 2. He has the phase where he throws fireballs at you, he has the phase where he breathes fire at you, and then he has the phase where he chomps at you. And then there's the phase where he's vulnerable, where he's running away from you. If you make the first hit, Boom Boo accelerates his movement speed, and by holding a certain angle on the control stick, you're actually able to keep up with Boom Boo's movement speed and can continue to attack him as he becomes vulnerable.
Yep. Alright, this is a golem. The worst boss in the entire game.
Yep. For one simple reason. Super bounces. Gonna explain it after he finishes this one concentrate.
There we go. Got him. There are no more super flexes that are beneficial in this fight, I mean, unless you want to go really crazy.
Yeah. So optimally, you want to get as many super bounces on this boss as possible, and then for like the last couple of hits, you can just bounce and hit his head whenever he lowers it in order to try and head smash you. Pretty much super bounces have already been explained, but for these super bounces, they're a bit more challenging due to the fact that the ledge that you do them on is so close to where you start your spin dash. It doesn't give you much time in order to input your jump and bounce input.
I believe it's about a 2-frame window.
Yeah, it's not a lot of time, not very lenient.
So this is Tails' last stage.
Thank goodness. Eternal Engine is it's a stage. This is a stage that benefits the most from Out of Bounds because you skip a large portion of it that takes a lot of time, but when you do it without Out of Bounds, it's okay. It requires you to pick up an additional upgrade that is basically pointless because this is the last stage where it's actually made use of. Unless you're trying to collect all the emblems, then it becomes useful again.
Yeah, it's actually required for quite a few M5s.
Yeah,
there's Mission 5.
Yeah, Mission 5 is basically the hard mode versions of each level, and it usually throws in a bunch of stuff that requires you to have the upgrade of later levels. But since you can only access the Mission 5s after you complete the other ones, the game just kind of expects you to, hey, you probably complete the story mode, so you'll probably have these upgrades when you do these missions.
That was a really annoying artificial chaos here. But yeah, a little bit of tech that we haven't mentioned yet is that in front of these doors, we want to jump. The reason is that jumping slows you down very slightly. And so if we just run straight at these doors, we could just bonk on them, and that'd be sad.
Yeah, they don't open very quickly at all. Finally just past the point where you would normally do the out of bounds to get to the end of the level and land on the goal ring. But instead he's just gonna play through the normal section of the level. This section in the outer space part is very annoying just because of how the camera interacts with the moving around in a circle. It's kind of jank.
Yo, look, it's Brad.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Brad. Wait, no, that's not Brad. That's Brian. Gosh darn it, I'm sorry, Brian. I got your name wrong.
Alright, so this is the, what is it, Vulcan Cannon? I don't remember. Yeah, it lets you break metal boxes. That's it.
Yep.
And the only time that in the normal gameplay where metal boxes block your path is in that one section where he broke two, and you never need it again for Hero Story.
One-time use.
Yep.
Pretty funny.
There's a couple of upgrades like that actually, like Rouge's ones that let her break metal boxes are only needed there.
You can actually even skip those, abusing gravity. It's pretty funny. So yeah, normally what they want you to do is fall into that little moving platform, but that's really slow because it doesn't really let us choose which ones we shoot. But they also realized that you could die if you jumped off, so they put an air current underneath you, so that means you can just kind of hover there.
Yeah. A current like this kind of exists in Pumpkin Hill as well. Kind of.
Kind of. It's a bit weird. It also exists in Green Forest on the way to the bungee, funnily enough.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I don't know why it exists there, but it does.
Alright, next up is Meteor Herd, where pretty much it's pretty standard fare for Knuckles levels. The only thing is that this stage can give some exceptionally terrible second pieces that are or first pieces in this instance.
So I just did Meteor Herd wall run. Oops.
Oh, that doesn't happen often.
No, first time for me.
Yes,
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. More instances of Knuckles running on things he shouldn't be. But yeah, sometimes the game can give you exceptionally terrible second pieces or first pieces. Like with Pioneer got Noisy Machine is at the very top of the level, which requires you to take about 2 different rockets and then fly around to the back of the arc. So it's not a very good first or second piece unless you have a piece that's already near the second rocket, and even then it's not that great. Ooh, it's a bit of static I'm hearing. It's very strange,
Oh.
but it's stopped now. But yeah, and moving smoothly at the top of the arc is a very good third piece to have, especially if you had a second piece near the top, like Guns Machine.
Yeah, Guns Machine is. That's why I
Which,
reset on it. It's because it's such a bad piece.
yeah. So for the Roots boss fight, pretty much the only thing that you really need to do is wait for a couple of seconds. Wait about a half a second, I believe, at the start.
Well, Knuckles selling sideways. He does this sometimes. I don't get it. What is this Rouge right now? Alright, we're gonna try that again. Get to watch that sick cutscene once more. Watch this jiggle physics. Boing! Alright.
Well then.
That's new.
Yeah. Yeah, what the strat is for this stage is, for this boss, I mean, is you pick up a ring and then you go in and you drill dive repeatedly. And because you are in the air, Rouge, his AI is very passive, so she doesn't try to attack you, and you can continually just do drill dives in order to do damage to her whenever she runs out of iframes.
You can also do ringless, which is what I just did, where you don't grab a ring at the start and just rely on the manipulation of the AI.
Yeah.
Although it's a bit more dangerous.
Yeah. Especially if you don't have your timings proper. And here we have Crazy Gadget, which is one of the more interesting stages to be done without out of bounds. Normally there's 2 different variations of tricks that can be done in this stage. There's Crazy Gadget Skip and then there's Crazy Gadget Skip. One has you fly out of bounds and land on the goal ring using some altered gravity, and the other also uses altered gravity, but you jump out of bounds at a certain point, jump around some kill planes, and land right onto the goal ring. And it's a bit faster than the normal Crazy Gadget Skip.
Yep. Overall, doing skipless loses about a minute over CGS and about a minute and a half over CGSS. Those are the abbreviations for the skips, by the way. Also, something interesting here is we're going to be using the light dash out of this tube. We're going to mash an action button while we're in the tube, and it saves about 2 seconds. Or not, because apparently this game hates me.
Huh. That's the one that I normally get. Either way. Now we're going to be picking up the Flame Ring. It's another one of those, you only make use of it once items.
Actually, we make use of it like twice. Alright, give it a little bit more credit.
Okay, you use it a couple of times, and then it has no use outside of the stage that you obtain it, as far as like preventing progression.
Yep. Again, it's useful in M5, but whatever.
Yeah, outside of the like additional missions, it's not super useful for any level after that, and by any level I mean Final Rush.
Oh yeah, there's one place in Final Rush we'll be using it as well. We're gonna be doing a super bounce here. Also, we never explained bounce acceleration. Basically when you bounce, you get towards the ground, and then you homing attack at the ground, and then that lets you go fast. Also, what happened there is that the goal ring sticks out behind the platform, so what we do is we go there and we just touch it. So it completes the level. Sonic then dies after, but because the goal ring takes priority over death, we win.
Yep. Shoutouts to finishing the level, taking priority over dying.
Yeah, we're gonna try to abuse something here. Oh, shoot. I didn't quite get the... No, I got it. Okay. Eggman's a silly boss. We got him. There's an invisible wall there that when he's against it, he tends to act funny when he's aiming at you. He aimed to the side there, but because he didn't like that, he didn't like the invisible wall, he just kind of just turned directly towards the wall and aimed out that way. That can be really... The laser there can kill you in, like, it's... As long as you've gotten hit in the fight. It does a tiny bit under half your health, so it's really dangerous.
Yeah. Avoid the giant death laser at all costs. It's where a lot of people, a lot of trouble is on Eggman 2 and Tails 2, because they're some of the most difficult bosses casually.
So I just passed the point in which we would normally do a skip, where you wiggle around a few kill planes and then fall to the end of the stage, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah, because it's out of the bounds of the level.
Bounds are a bit hard to define sometimes due to how just wall-less certain levels are.
Like this one. But considering the fact that you like clip into the back of the end of the stage, I think we can define that one safely as out of bounds.
I mean, you know, you're going at it from behind. Definitely not an innuendo, I promise, guys. You know, but there's no actual wall there. Oh yeah, wall runs. They're cool. Oh no, I messed it up. You can actually go all the way up and all the way through this entire section without having to do any of what I'm doing right now by doing the wall run there.
Yeah.
But I only got one section of it, so instead of all three. So we have to do a little bit of a backup there. So yeah.
By abusing like the speed and alter gravity you get from jumping and bouncing off of the rail and attached to the wall and continue to run up it and around towards the very top.
Yep.
Still slower than either of the skips in the stage, but saves time over doing that vertical section.
Yep.
Oh yeah, speaking of skips, I forgot to mention there's another skip that can be done in the stage called Fast Final Rush Skip. It was actually the initial Final Rush Skip that was found, but it's a very tricky thing to do just due to the fact that it pretty much involves you going past a kill plane that just doesn't kill you for some reason.
Yeah, so I can actually explain that. But you're basically phasing through the kill plane because Sonic is not registered as existing in the same place that the kill plane is.
It's effectively random because we have no way of not making the kill plane kill us. So anytime you go for Fast Final Rush Skip, you're gambling.
Yes.
It's about 10 seconds faster than the consistent skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a rough ending section. What I was trying to do was let go of the downward on my spin dash because I didn't need it. And sometimes I'll sway a little bit and go left and right, but you know what? I could.
It's fine.
Yeah, we're going to be coming up on the final boss of the game, Shadow 2.
Yeah, so be ready on time.
Yep, it'll be on the last hit. So we just got to get a rhythm here.
Yep, it's all rhythm for this boss.
Time. 44 or 41, at least on my end. And that's Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, your story. Out of bounds.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of interesting stuff in this run, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm gonna be heading it back off to Sloa because, yeah, they need to continue the marathon and that should not take long. Anyways, if you want to learn the game, we have a few resources, some tutorials and whatnot, and you can always join the Discord, which is on sonicSpeedrun.com. Check out the rest of the marathon. A lot of cool runs coming up, and I'll be heading off now. Thanks for watching.